Overreaction Monday here on the Cowboys Report, and there are some maybe not overreactions that we will get into that I've seen from you guys in the comments, social media, my own thoughts as well. The Cowboys did not play well, and that's an understatement of the century. They were terrible against the Saints. Your letdown, blowout, embarrassment game happens seemingly every year, oftentimes early, happens in week 2. Now, we will be live Monday, 3:50 p.m. Eastern Time for our post-game therapy session. We'll do those every year. Got Victory Monday, Therapy Monday. I still think Jerry Jones should pay for all of our therapy that we need, but this is the best we can do in the meantime, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Overreaction number 1, it's the same old Cowboys, and I agree. This is why we don't trust them. This is why I have trust issues as a person. How can we trust the Dallas Cowboys? They do this stuff every year. Every year they have one of these games, the Denver game, the Cardinals game last year, where they just forget to show up. Happens in the playoffs every year, seemingly it feels like too. How many of us, you, me, made comments of, hey, don't have a letdown game. Got some Cardinals vibes going into it. Don't have the letdown game. Don't come out flat. Guess what happened? The defense never actually showed up. Cowboys offense kind of did. It was like if the offense had been a normal game, they probably would have had more success. Turns out, as people forget to realize, actually, if you're playing prevent defense, you have issues actually scoring points. You move the ball, can't score points. Guess what they did? They never showed up. Defense was a disaster class. Offense was fine. Actually kind of good in the first half, but it was too little too late. Game was over at halftime. I don't trust this team. I don't think many of you trust this team. And you're right to feel that way. Not just from I get to have an opinions perspective, but why would we trust them? We've seen this not just 1 year, not just 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 8 years. It's been 28 years of this shit. That is a fraudulent effort. If people go out there, ESPN Monday morning say Cowboys are frauds, how can we disprove them? This team has yet to beat the front-runner claims. I don't like that. You don't get to go out there and say, you put us too highly. No, that's on you. There's a reason why I and others don't use the phrase our year, because we've been traumatized too many times. Stop it. You have to prove you can win these games. You have to have a full team effort. Frankly, when was the last full team effort? The Lions game? Commanders don't count. They're terrible. And even then, it was kind of a wonky game to an extent. You have to prove that you are more than just the 10-win team I think you are. It's a 10-win team performance, because every 10-win team is a bad game. But the Ravens next week. We got confidence there? Because I don't. So what is your confidence level right now in the Dallas Cowboys? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. If confidence is low, I get it. All right, overreaction number 2. Got to fire the mics. McCarthy got to go. Zimmer got to go. Schottenheimer got to go. Fire coaching staff. It is an overreaction in the sense of the realisticness of it happening right now. It's not going to happen. Right? And there's no chance of it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I get where you're coming from. And come December, January, you're probably going to be right. But right now, it's just not going to happen. You got nobody on the staff to do it. This is your coaching staff for the year. You had one good game, especially on defense, and one awful one, especially on defense. There is a reason why big Mike McCarthy and old Mike Zimmer are on one-year deals. I need consistency. Look, it is a league of inconsistency. Every team wants it. Few teams have it. How many upsets did we see in week 1 this year? Or at least almost upsets even. They're on one-year deals because they have to prove it. That performance in week 2, that is not how you prove it. So if they don't change things, look, they're not, their seat isn't getting hotter. It's already super hot. We knew that going into the year. It's a prove-it year for everybody involved. They got to show up moving forward because players get put in a lot of bad execution in that game. Coaching staff not blameless either. Now, today's show is made possible by Rocket Money. Who here has forgotten to cancel subscription that you did the free trial for and oops, forgot about it, and boom, there's $5. And then you forgot about it next month, and then, well, that happens. Sometimes, you have a bad day. Happens on the football field, happens when it comes to canceling subscriptions. That's why I like Rocket Money. It's a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills. Also, you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. That's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. That is rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Overreaction number 3. The running game is bad again. And this is not an overreaction. I got to go back and find the graphic and bring it up to speed here. We can go back and look at all these different Cowboys playoff losses that have happened, or even just the losses in general that have happened over the last 3 years. And it's not just one thing, but one pretty consistent correlation, not necessarily causation, is you've tried to run the football and you can't. Happened again against the Saints. Go back and watch that. I'll pull up the stats briefly, obviously from the game. No one ran the ball well. You keep trying to do inside zone with Deuce Vaughn, make it make sense to me. Zeke had 6 carries, 16 yards. His best play was the kind of busted play that was kind of fun to see happen with Dak. Dowdle was better, 7 for 30, but I wouldn't call that good necessarily either. First half, you take away the Dak Prescott quarterback sneak for a 4-yard gain. Brandon Cooks on the reverse, which was really Jalen Brooks' fault. But take away your quarterback runs, and you had 15 carries for 43 yards. That's under 3 yards per carry. Like, you can't win football games. Give the ball to Zeke, 4 carries for 11 yards. Deuce Vaughn, Dowdle was better, but not great. You don't, if you're going to try to run the football, and by the way, the reason why your play action isn't great is nobody respects your ground game. You go back and watch, I guarantee you watch the All-22, Cowboys run that play action stuff. It's why that boot action doesn't work. They tried it a couple times. It's not there. They don't fear your ground game. They're like, okay, fine, run the ball. You're going to get 5 yards. They don't have the explosive playability, and if they don't have the efficiency, what am I doing? I need 4 things on offense to have a maximized offense. Explosives in the passing game, explosives in the ground game, efficiency in the passing game, efficiency in the ground game. Ideally, I'm getting 3 out of 4 of those. My ground game's doing nothing. It puts me in a hard spot. You can't keep running the ball on first downs. Their first down success rate on runs was 25% before garbage time. I'm burning too many plays doing this. I get you want to run the football. You have to be able to actually do it, though. It's not just the backs, by the way. It's not an anti-Zeke, anti-Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, whatever. Your scheme continues to lack imagination. When was last time they ran the ball with motion? Good teams do that. There's no connection, at least not a big enough one, between your drop-back passing game and your ground game. It looks very different, and it's too easy to key in on from a defensive perspective. It is disjointed, and it shows up. They have got to figure stuff out, and that probably means trying different things in the backfield too. It's a week you consider putting Dalvin Cook, if he looks good out there, if he looks good out there in practice. Give him a shot. Who should be RB1? Through 2 games, Zeke looked better week 1, Dowdle better week 2. Neither where they need to be. Who's RB1? RD, EE, DC, DV. Overreaction number 4. This defense isn't good. It's not consistently good. And it's only 2 games for this year, so I'll put it in the valid concern category. But again, we've seen this story before. That's why I'm pissed you didn't do anything in the offseason to actually upgrade your team. This defense has not played consistently. They haven't done it since the middle of last year. And there are very real concerns, not just with your ground game. It's not just the ground game. Alvin Kamara ran great. Derek Carr smoked your ass through the air. Again, it was just like the Packers game. Early Packers game, Jordan Love was balling. Early Saints game, Derek Carr was balling. Second half, once the game's big, They ran it right down your throat. You can't win games like that. And how many good defensive plays did you have before you were down by 3 touchdowns? 0? The Dallas Cowboys defense, over the last 9 games, including playoffs, have allowed 26.5 points per game. That would have been 31st compared to last year's numbers over the course of the season. So this defense has been closer to a bottom-tier defense than a top-tier defense. And if they're not getting pressure, they've got nothing. If they don't get quick pressures, they got nothing. Saints did everything they wanted to outside of one bad Derek Carr throw. That was it. We can be mad about look, Linval Joseph, Jordan Phillips looked terrible. And those moves are fine in August, but you're paying the price for a lack of March moves. I don't know if the defense can be fixed this year. I truly don't. They look bad. Like I have real concerns because we had concerns going into the year. They were alleviated in week 1, and they were right back on the menu in week 2. The average is bad. Which defense shows up week to week? You can't make a playoff run with that. I can win 10 games with this. Having a bad week and a good week. Bad week and a good week because you'll play. Saints are probably going to be one of the better teams you play, frankly. Browns might be decent too. You'll play some bad teams. But I'm not going to be able to do shit in January with this defensive performances. I might win a game. How about I play the 49ers? The Packers? It's not good enough across the board. I don't know if your defense can be fixed this year. I hope, but I have my doubts. So what do you think? Y for yes, N for no. Overreaction, if I think you got to make a trade, got to make a move, got to upgrade this roster, you're not good enough. Yes, but no. Allow me to explain. You're probably pointing out your DTs played bad. Linval Joseph and Jordan Phillips are terrible, at least watching live. You got holes on this roster. You don't have enough secondary players. You got to make a change in the safety spot. You probably need a better wide receiver because you missed Jake Ferguson pretty heavily. Your ground game lacks explosive plays. Your front 4 was non-factor all game long. All of that is accurate. All of that was on full display in week 2. All the things, hey, you didn't do that, didn't do that. Kind of stayed patient there. That was all very accurate. But the timing might be wrong. The cost involved might be too much because you got multiple different holes. And that includes your coaching staff, by the way. I think the Cowboys missed their window this year. That's why I was so pissed this offseason. You have paid the price today for your March failures. You don't have the horses to really be a contender. Not for what we saw today. Maybe that changes. I am frankly more inclined to wait until next offseason when I have gobs of cap space, when I can change my coaching staff. Does anyone feel confident that this year is going to go any different from what we saw on Sunday? I don't think from a coaching staff perspective. You're trying to establish the run again, which you're going to get all these too high shells, so that's how you do it. But if you can't do it, I think your ground game scheme is stupid. I think it is boring, it lacks creativity, and it is way too obvious. And your O-line doesn't block well enough because the scheme's not great either. Look, I'm down to call and explore ideas. If I can find a multi-year solution, okay. If I can find a multi-year defense tackle like a Jonathan Allen, okay, I'll have that conversation. I'm not just going to sign somebody. I don't need bodies. I need impact. And impact in September, in October, is really friggin' hard to find because you didn't do your job in March, and you're paying the price for it today. So unless you find a long-term move, I'm going to keep my picks. I might be able to get some good players again. I found some good players in this year's draft, it seems like. They didn't show up today or Sunday, but I can't make a panic move because it's probably going to be a new coaching staff next year.